Hello, and a warm welcome to Reddit Echo.
We've all been there. That moment in your teenage years when you push a boundary, break a small rule, thinking the worst consequence will be a stern lecture. But sometimes, a simple act of rebellion can accidentally pull back the curtain on something far deeper and more mysterious, revealing a story you were never meant to be a part of. This is the story of how I got in trouble for being in two places at once, and the heartbreaking reason why that was almost true. It was my junior year of high school. The school day had ended, and the bus was filled with that familiar end-of-day chatter. But instead of riding all the way to my stop, I got off a few blocks early. My best friend, let's call him Mark, lived there, and we had plans to conquer a new video game. It was a harmless deception. I'd just tell my mom I'd stayed late for a study group, a classic teenage maneuver. We were deep into the game, the glow of the screen our only light, when Mark's mom came into the room, her face etched with concern. She held out the phone. "It's for you," she said. "It's your mother. She sounds upset." I took the receiver, my heart sinking. "Hello?" My mother's voice was a tight wire of anger, and something else, something that sounded like fear. "Your name. You come home. Right now. Do you understand me? Come home immediately." The bus ride home was a blur of anxiety. I ran through a dozen scenarios. Did a teacher call? Did a neighbor see me? This level of fury seemed disproportionate to the crime of hanging out at a friend's house. I braced myself for the storm as I walked through the front door. The atmosphere in the house was electric with tension. My mom was pacing in the living room, her arms crossed tightly. My older sister and her best friend, Sarah, were sitting on the couch, looking pale and shaken. They all turned to look at me as I entered. "Your name?" my mom said, her voice dangerously calm. "Where were you? And I want the truth this time." I was at Mark's house," I said, my voice betraying my nervousness. "We were just playing video games, the whole time, I swear." "Don't you lie to me," she snapped, her composure breaking. "I know you weren't there the whole time. What were you doing in the backyard?" I was completely lost. The backyard? I haven't been in our backyard since this morning. The interrogation continued, my mom's frustration growing with every denial. She finally sent me to my room with a sharp wave of her hand. I sat on my bed, confused and angry. A few minutes later, my sister slipped in. "Okay, what is really going on?" she whispered. "Where were you?" "I told you. Mark's house. Why is everyone acting like I committed a felony?" She studied my face, looking for a crack in my story. Seeing only genuine confusion, her expression softened from suspicion to a dawning unease. "Because," she said slowly, "Mom saw you. Or, she saw someone who looked exactly like you." She then told me what had happened. About an hour earlier, my mom had been reading in her bedroom, which has a window that looks out onto our large, fenced-in backyard. She heard a voice, clear as day, call out my name. She got up and looked outside. What she saw made her blood run cold. There was my sister Sarah, and me. But a version of me she'd never seen. I was shirtless, and I was standing behind Sarah, my arms wrapped around her in a tight hug from behind. It was intimate, possessive, and in my mother's eyes, it was completely inappropriate. Furious, she stormed downstairs and out the back door, ready to drag me inside by my ear. But when she burst into the backyard, the scene had completely changed. Only my sister and Sarah were there, sitting on the grass, looking up at her with startled expressions. "Where is he?" my mom demanded, her eyes scanning the yard, expecting to find me hiding behind a tree or the shed. "Where is who?" my sister asked, genuinely confused. "Your name." "I just saw him out here with you, shirtless." The two girls exchanged a look of pure bewilderment. They swore, up and down, that they had been alone the entire time. There was no one else. No shirtless boy. No hug. My mom, of course, didn't believe them. She was certain they were covering for me, that I had just sprinted away and was hiding somewhere nearby. She was so sure of what she had seen and heard. And that's where the story should have ended. A strange case of mistaken identity, a mother's overactive imagination. But it didn't end there. My sister looked at me, her eyes wide. "Sarah came over today for a reason," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "She needed to talk, to be with a friend. Today is the 1-year anniversary." "The 1-year anniversary of what?" I asked. "Of her fiancé's suicide." The air went out of the room. The pieces, once scattered and nonsensical, suddenly clicked into a chilling, heartbreaking picture. "What was his name?" I asked, though I already knew the answer. My sister looked at me, a shiver running through her. "His name was your name. He had your name." The realization was a cold wave washing over us. My mother had seen something. She had heard a voice calling my name. She had seen a shirtless young man holding Sarah in a comforting, desperate embrace. But it wasn't me. It was a ghost. It was Sarah's lost fiancé, visiting on the most painful day of the year. A spirit sharing my name, my general build, and in that moment, my mother's backyard. My innocent lie about my whereabouts had inadvertently placed me at the center of a supernatural event, making me the prime suspect in a haunting. We never told my mom the full truth. How do you tell someone they just witnessed a ghost, the spirit of a dead man, on the anniversary of his death? The coincidence was too profound, too personal. The anger she felt towards me faded, replaced by a confused quietness she could never quite explain. For me, it was a permanent shift in my understanding of the world. It's a story that reminds me that the past is never truly gone, that love and grief can echo through time, and that sometimes the most logical explanation is the most impossible one of all.
Don't want to lose this channel and always be up to date with new videos? Then make sure to subscribe. The story continues, and it's only getting more interesting.